I'm here with Damon Harvey, who is the Hastings District Councillor. Kia ora, Damon, and thanks for joining me.
Kia ora, Andrew. Hey, seriously, thanks for the opportunity to catch up. We're getting fewer and fewer media, and you guys certainly make the effort to engage with us as councillors.
That's good. No, it's a pleasure. It's good to hear what's going on from the horse's mouth, if so to speak. And it's it's quite an interesting time to be a councillor, whether you're a regional councillor, district councillor, or city councillor in Hawke's Bay. You've just been through quite a arduous long-term plan, I would say, and just the whole discussion around that. And we've come out with probably the highest rates increase for the year that Hastings has ever faced. How was the process for you?
I'm going to take a step back because you've actually made me reflect that, this is my third term and it's been a hell of a roller coaster ride since that first term, which was on the back of the water contamination crisis in Havelock North, which, was the first big spend up that council had to, investment the council had to make. So, where we are at today with LTP and rate rises of 19% for the next year, all sort of harks back to those sort of situations that we've been in the past. So, I thought probably council was going to be a little bit more easier than what it actually has been, but we've gone from sort of one crisis to another. The water crisis and the investment that was required there. And then through to, a cyclone last year, and we're having to, clean up and pay up around the impact of that cyclone. So it's been an incredibly difficult time. I think when I started on council, I think we were sort of in the 50 million sort of debt profile to, looking at in 2030, that debt rising to $711 million. So it's really scary, to be quite frank. And it's all hands on deck to try and make sure that, we know that it is a 19% rate rise for this next 12 months and then, a further 10% the following year. And my take on that is yep, that's the baseline. But we've got to look for wherever we can save some money to lessen that impact. We're here to represent the ratepayers, and it's just it's scary talking to people about what they're facing. It's not, everything, prices are rising all around the place.
Your council has done a good job in representing the ratepayers and in handling those crises that you've just mentioned.
Yeah, I do. We've also, there was a really strong message during the LTP around the increased cost of doing business, whether it's fixing roads and bridges, which, bridges are up, they say 30, 37, 38% in price of doing those. And I mean, all of that water infrastructure as well. That was, the budget blew out there a couple of times as we went through that project. So we've tried to keep a good handle on that. And I think coming out the other side of the LTP, where I see the biggest opportunity to reduce some of those costs are actually in that civil infrastructure space. One, by using as much as possible local businesses to actually do that work. And also because of now the environment being more of a recessionary type economy nationally, we're in a much more the market for council work is more competitive. Therefore, the prices therefore can be a lot less than what they potentially have been in the past. A lot more affordable.
Do you think enough has been done to find savings elsewhere? Because as you say it's a 19% increase, but it was up to 25%. So you did find some savings there. are there any more that you can
Yeah,
find?
we actually haven't found savings.
Yeah,
We budgeted, or we put out to the community, a 25% rate rise.
yeah,
We've landed back at 19, but that 19 is not based necessarily on savings, because we're going to have to borrow money,
yeah.
$14 million a year this year and for the following year, so 28 million in total. Just to keep the doors open and to keep operating. So we haven't found savings there. What we took from the consultation was really strong feedback that the community cannot afford a 25% rate rise. And so we needed to look at things differently. And that is, unfortunately, means that we're going to be borrowing, to cover that shortfall. But I think where we need to really focus in on where we can save money, and we've put that onus back on council officers and the chief executive. They're saying that they're looking at around $2.7 million, or 2.5% of a saving. I don't think that's enough. I think we need to be looking further into that. And hopefully within the next few weeks, we will get a better sightline of what some of those savings are. But there was also a promise that there'd be an additional, as well as that 2.5, 2.7%, there'd be that again within the 6 months that they would look to find. So let's hope that they've lifted the hood, lifted the bonnet, and put forward stuff. It all comes before us as councillors. And look, I've been trying to engage with the community myself, trying to also ask the community, where do you think we can actually save money? Where are the opportunities? Where can we create new revenue streams for councils? Because we don't have all the answers. And
What's their response been? What's their
It's been
response?
actually really positive. One of the ones, I'm really hot on the civil infrastructure space. So I've had conversations with people, businesses. I believe one of my strengths is that I'm really well connected in the business community.
Mm.
And so I've taken that mantle on board and having those conversations. And they think that there are significant savings and look, they're local. They do take pride in their workmanship, and they're passionate about doing things that are going to help our economy and help our people.
And now you say you've, as a council, you've asked the council officials to lift the hood and see what savings are there. You've kind of looked under the hood yourself. What do you, from your position, think there could be? What areas could there be other areas there could be savings?
Well, unfortunately, one of them could be how we deliver our services, and there could be cutbacks that could occur. So we need to get a better understanding of those. I think we need to look at some of our contracts that we do have, our annual contracts, or they're actually longer term than that. So maintenance contracts, that's another area. Personnel, we're up over 400 odd staff, and I think we need to get a better understanding or a better handle on what are those roles, how many roles are sort of sitting idle at the moment that we're sort of saving some money on because they're not being filled. So I think there's a raft of those, but we need, as a councillor, I think in the past, and it's easy to look back on hindsight to where we are now. We were in buoyant times as well up until halfway through last year, and the economy was quite different. And so we had a different risk profile. We had a different appetite for what we invested in, and that was a few nice to haves. There's no longer any nice to haves to have on the table. We've really got anything that comes with any sniff of, well, yeah, that'd be nice to do. But actually, what's the benefit for our ratepayer? We need to claw those back, and we just need to park those for the time being.
And you mentioned services. So what do you think possibly could be cut back? What services could be cut back?
So we run a different council model to what even Napier City has in and around our maintenance contracts that we have. So we use company called Recreational Services. They do a fantastic job, by the way. But I think we need to look at those types of services, and are we continuing? We're getting value for money, but is there things that we can, are we doing mowing once a week or once a fortnight? Those are the types of things. But what I am worried about, there was a couple of weeks ago, we were told that we were going to pull My Hastings, and that was going to save us 100 odd grand a year. To me, 100 odd grand a year is bugger all. And also that is an important resource for us to be able to communicate with ratepayers.
And the latest edition has come out, or is coming out anyway.
The latest edition has come out, and so there has been a halt put on that, so that will continue to be going out into the community. But you know yourself, the media landscape is not what it used to be. And so we need to be making sure that we do communicate as often and as well as we possibly can. And for 100 grand or whatever that was a year, I think we need to look a lot deeper into where we can save. And I still think, as I said earlier, as we go through our recovery and the projects that are, they're significant projects, we need an independent perspective when those tenders are coming in, to look at them and actually push back on the contractors, to see if we can actually reduce the price of those projects.